and welcome to HelenJoy Creates and this week's Zentangle patterns. Before we carry on, I just wanted to say that although I am planning still to continue with doing these patterns each day, if you saw my original video, you saw that I maybe a bit on a whim challenged myself to try and do a pattern every weekday for a year. I still want to be able to carry on doing that, although I'm not sure I'm going to maintain necessarily doing it consecutively every day. So I think I am apologising to you to say I'm not going to do it for a little bit. I'm going to take a bit of a break, partly because currently I'm doing the Inktober challenge, and so each day or as many days as possible through October following the Inktober prompts. So I'm not going to have time to do that as well as the Zentangle patterns, but also just life at the moment is a little unsettled. Some of you know that I'm currently living in England, although I should be back in Zambia, but yeah, we're trying to get back to Zambia, and obviously we're trying to sort things out as well as home educating the kids and doing these videos. My life has gone a bit crazy at the moment, so I will still try and put videos out there, but I'm not sure that I'm necessarily going to be doing the Zentangle everyday videos, or if I do them, then what I might be doing is just doing a more speeded up video and maybe showing them at the end of the month rather than every week. So I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to uphold my own challenge to myself and show you the way I wanted to, but I'm hoping that you will still want to follow and watch the videos that I am able to do, and hopefully at a later date I can catch up a little bit with doing the Zentangles each day. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So I decided the designs this week would be kind of space filler designs. So this first one is basically a square or whatever shape you happen to have, and then you draw on the inside following the lines, but just a little bit inside of that line. So as you can see, you draw down the line, but you just go slightly in to the next line as you go. Again, as you can see, I'm doing this fairly freehand, and my lines aren't necessarily that straight, and the way that I'm going in is not necessarily uniform with the amount of space that I'm doing. So depending on how you like to do your designs, if you want them to look more freehand or if you like them being more geometric, you can use a ruler and measure it all out if you like to. For this next design, I did decide I would use a ruler just to help me a little bit with the lines and getting the placement right, although I do draw it totally freehand. So we start again just with a box shape, and then we will fill it in with a grid. So just do your lines fairly evenly spaced. I made mine probably about 1/2 centimetre wide, and then yeah, both horizontally and vertically. Then just draw over those main lines with your pen next. Then I use the ruler and pencil again just to give myself a little bit of a guideline, literally just a couple of millimetres either side of my pen lines. So these are going to be the guidelines for me to draw little boxes at the cross sections of my lines. this look kind of gives it almost like a lacy effect. So rather than squares, you could do circles as well, which I think makes it look more delicate rather than geometric. So depending on the sort of look you want, you can either go for squares or circles, or I don't know, you could be even more daring and creative and maybe put some stars or something in there too. This next design is going to have the same base as the one that we've just seen. So again, just starting with the square with our grid shape, but then filling it in slightly differently once we've got that basic shape done. So for this one, I'm going to just fill in the outline of the square around each of the blocks. So rather than filling it in and colouring it in, just drawing the outline. And then once I've done that, filling in alternate boxes, as you'll see in a second. So this time I'm filling in the internal space on this first block, but then I'm going to fill it in alternately, so leaving one free and then filling in the next one, and doing that in a pattern through that design. Then on the squares that haven't had anything filled in, I then fill in the smaller squares black, and just do that for each of the squares that haven't got any colouring in. This next design is a very simple brick design. So literally just a grid of lines, so horizontal lines all on the same level, and then just alternating the horizontal lines to get that brick effect. I found to get a slightly more three-dimensional look, it's good to have a little bit of curve to your shape. So once you've done your straight line, just to get the placement of your bricks, just add a little bit of a curve to the corners, and it just gives that impression almost of shadow and space between the brick shapes. For our last design this week, we're going to do a similar design to our first design. So we're going to start with a rectangle, but then divide it up by doing diagonal lines from each corner so that we end up with 4 triangle shapes. And then for each of those triangle shapes, we're then going to do what we did before, which was draw the shape following the lines, but just getting slightly smaller and finishing slightly indented from the inside line each time. So not going to the corner, but to the next point, as it were, on that line. Like I said at the start of the video, I'm going to have a little break from doing these patterns, but please do watch the other videos that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try and keep up with as many Inktober challenges as I can. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe and hit the bell button so that you get notifications. And please remember to give a thumbs up for any videos that you've found helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully catch you again soon.